Alright, we are live, I believe. Sorry for the huge delay, dudes. Also, what's going on, Senkai? Good to see ya. If you're still here, I know I put you guys on to wait for a while. But we had some stuff we had to deal with. I had to deal with some last minute house maintenance stuff. But we're good to go right now. So, today, ladies and gentlemen, VOD watchers, as I wait for people to come in, we are resuming where we left off last time. And as you recall, we had this cool ability now to not only have a game object in the world and have a camera that actually, draws the correct parts of it as we translate left and right, but we also have shaders working. So we have a very common sine UV shader effect going on, and it behaves like regular shader with UVs and everything, which is super duper exciting. So today, I think we're going to start taking a stab at implementing a lighting system, because of course, why not? Yeah, what's going on? Dutiful sun strikes again. We are back. What's going on? What's going on, Syndicate? How you doing today? I am extremely happy with where we got to last time. I'm probably going to add multiple instances of this too, just to really showcase the effect. He waiting for SM to show up so I can tell him a meme. Well, we shall see when he pops in. Good night to all. Oh my goodness. Good to see you, Senkai. You have a good one, alright? Yeah, sorry it took a while to get going, but what can you do? Went to the gym. It was good. Sunny day. That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear that. I'm prepared to have a little fun day today. Prepared to have a fun day today. Let's see here. So yeah, I'm very happy with what we got going. So I think the easiest thing to work on is just to get some lighting. It's gonna be, I don't think it's gonna be that much work to get something that actually looks pretty good, but I also want to have a couple different objects to showcase it to, with different levels of with different depths in the scene and whatnot. So we're gonna give it a try. What's going on, Ming Phoenix? Glad to have you here. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully all is well. Okay, so I think without any further ado, I'm just gonna start cranking at it. Yeah, feel me? And I'm gonna put a little poll up for what to do with music this stream. So we have a chill VGM option, a chill VGM CD, I don't know, 195, or ambient sounds, or just nothing. So there's the poll. I'll have you guys tell me what you're in the mood for, and we're just gonna do it, dude. We're gonna get into it, man. So, to lighting systems. So let's talk about this. So let's go into AcePart while we're at it. Actually, we already have this ACE file that we were using before, so we're just going to recycle this and make a new layer. So we talked about our rendering system, and let's just recap it. So we're doing a ray tracing type thing, or let's say this is a screen, and let's say over here this is like the camera or the observer or viewer or whatever. That looks like an audio symbol. Do I not know how to make a camera? Whatever. Anyways, so this camera has like a height and width and whatnot. And in this world, there can be different various objects that may exist in different places, like so. So the way our camera works is that for every single pixel we're going to be rendering onto the screen, we have a ray and we test it against the world to see, is the pixel that's going to be seen on the camera hitting anything? And if so, this pixel is going to render whatever product of the shader is on this object. And we do this for every single pixel on the camera. And it will result in something like this, where you have the background object will be in the back, and the foreground object will be in the front, like so. So every single one of these pixels that's the camera's rendering is going to be doing that ray test against the world. So this is fine and dandy, and that's what's happening right now. In our version of the engine, we just have a single object that's running this cool shader, and that's fine. However, now I want to do something a little bit more. I want to have lighting so that I can place, let's say, a light source over here, and this light source will illuminate the objects. So this would mean we're going to make a lit shader, and we have to have some information to be able to tell the shaders how to light the object so that this object will receive lighting like so. And maybe this one will be lit from the back. So this is one thing I want to do. There's also another thing we have to cover, which is the fact that we're not rendering spheres. We're rendering kind of a little bit more complex objects. Like, even though conceptually, oh my goodness, conceptually this is like a box or a quad, you still see how there's transparent parts of this sprite, like everything that's black, you know, between the arms, under the hair, what they have here, all these things here. So the goal we want to have is that if there's an object behind this one, we render what's behind it. But that's not what's going to happen right now. Right now we're hitting this object that's in front, and even if we're hitting a transparent portion of it, we're still going to render that transparent portion instead of rendering the object that's behind it. So that's another thing we need to start thinking about, how we're going to deal with order and transparency. So that's going to be a fun thing to deal with. Two big concerns we have to deal with. But I think the lighting system would be the first and easiest thing to implement, and then we can deal with that later. But just general to-dos. Lighting and transparency. And this is a simple case of transparency where we have parts of the sprite that are completely opaque and other parts that are a bit transparent or completely transparent. We want to deal with a case of like fully semi-transparency, because if it's semi-transparent, then we still have to not only ray test the object behind it, but then also factor in the transparency of the front object onto it. So we might have to think about how we're going to go about doing that. And in truth, I don't even know how I want to go about dealing with it. There's a couple ways of tackling it. I know none of them. I'm Josh, but there's some big question marks I have, so we're gonna have to go through a journey together. And let me catch up in chat real quick. Cozy out of context clips. Hey, what happened? What did I say? I have half marathon in 2 months and I have been very bad at training for it. Dude, marathons in general, even a half marathon or a quad marathon or fourth marathon, seems like a lot for me. But at least you have time, 2 months to prep for it. Oh, VGM means Video Game Music Syndicate. Is a happy place on earth. Downtown's fun though. Yeah. Going back where, if you do not mind me asking, going back to the gym. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So we're caught up there. Sweet. So we have our 2 objectives for today's stream. Honestly, we're gonna mostly just tackle the lighting. The transparency one might be a little arc in of itself. So let's just start dealing with it, shall we? So I'm gonna touch and make a file called light.h. Or yeah, I'll just call it light. We're gonna yoink light.h, and we're gonna think about how we're gonna tackle it. We also have to do some other stuff. If you recall our definition for, oh my goodness. Yes, edit anyways. If you recall our definition for the fragment shader, it simply takes in a float 2 with a UV in it and then a void pointer. We're gonna have to actually make a proper object for this that contains general information about the object, like or general information about the ray hit query, like point of contact and whatnot, and even like the object index and whatnot. So I think I'm gonna modify this because it's gonna be very crucial in calculating lighting. So we're gonna deal with that. And it seems with 1 vote, nothing, just blissful key sounds is in the lead right now. So cool. A lot to tackle today. A lot to tackle. What do I want to start with? We can start with refactoring this so that this so that our signature for this will be something different. I need to think about what kind of information I want to provide though, because I could just use like ray hit to define this, or I can create like some other object that contains the that information. Ray hit contains, I think, most of what I'd need, if I'm not mistaken. And it contains some information that's not needed, like was hit. But like 3 out of the 4 things that are in there are relevant, so yeah, maybe I'll just pass that into the shader. Yeah, I think that's good enough, honestly. Maybe I'll make a distinct struct to encapsulate it, but it's gonna be odd though, because that means this has to be there might be like a circular dependence on it. And the way I've architected things is very odd, where there's like a very distinct reliance on not having circular dependencies the way I'm doing build. So we're gonna see, dude. We're gonna see what happens. Where is the first instance where I need it though? It's here. It's under session data. And ray hit's defined below it. But I think we could change the order. It's actually not a big deal. I think the only thing this depends on is like, yeah, so we can actually just move this. And then we can start changing the signature on this. So this function definition now is going to be taking in a, instead of a float 2, it's going to be taking in a ray hit instead. That's going to contain this information. And then let's open up the shader. Oh, I think it's already open actually. Shader programs. And we're going to change our signature for this guy to instead be a ray hit. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, so just better than I was the day before in every way. It's very loose and whatever feels cool, good, cool, needed. My body tells me. That's cool. Yeah, I'm not too very rigid about any programs. I think in college I used to be much more rigid about having a workout program, but no, I just kind of do what's interesting and fun. Which honestly, a lot of times is just more ring stuff and then doing squats. I took a big hiatus though, so I'm trying to get back into it. So this takes in the ray hit, and wherever we get our, wherever we use UV, we have to actually do like where is it? Yeah, it's just capital UV. So we have to do hit dot UV I think that's all the places where we use this. And then we have to also change how we supply it, so before I forget, we get carried away. Ray test camera, there we go. So instead of providing UV, we just provide hit directly. What's going on here? On main. What are you talking about? It's F3. Why does it keep changing to 8? Okay, and if we run it, hey, it works. Okay, cool. So now we passed in information that is relevant. Now we can start thinking about our lighting system and what's going to be entailed there. I think the simplest thing we can start with is just defining the different types of light sources or light types. So there's some simple ones like point light, a sun, and a we can do like cone lights and stuff like that. And we can even do like a line light. I liked having that in my lighting system. It's a shame that Unity doesn't have that normally. I forgot my guy loves the squats legs. It's great, dude. I love leg day. It's super fun, like cause it's immediate feedback. It's like I leave the gym crippled. You know? It's a confirmation that I did good. Alright, so we have this. There's things to think about here. So I might implement this the same way I did it in my other, and the way I did it in the Cozy Cabin Unity dev kit, where we have the lighting like very, we just have a bunch of blocks of data, and they change depending on what is being used. But I think the simplest place to start is like just do an array. Just have to do a define. I don't know, we can do like 100 lights in the game. That's how much we want to evaluate per fragment. And then so we have our lights. I think we're gonna have another array of floats. They're gonna be like, I don't know. It's weird because, like, let's talk about the data that's required for each one of these. So for a point light, all that really is needed for this is a radius to understand like how big is the area that this light is going to be affecting. Its intensity. Usually engines have this like bound together into one value. You know, it's not, there's not many instances where you want to have a very bright light source that abruptly cuts off, you know? But if you want to be cool and have maximum control, we can just do that. And then of course all of these, an assumed thing is going to be color as well. And this takes in the form of like a single float, intensity is a float, color is like a float 3. I'm not going to use alpha for that at all. So okay, we have an idea of how this is going to work. Line is going to be the same thing except you're going to define a second point. If you want to have, like, it'll be kind of cool to have a line light that like has different intensities, so, and maybe even different colors that it blends between. So maybe I can actually just do 2 of them. And it's like, alright, cool. So we're using more data than this one, right? So far this would be like the biggest candidate of information to encode for. A sunlight is very super simple. All it is just intensity and direction. When you implement a cone light is also kind of, and then color as well. Like I said, that's gonna be an assumed thing, but. And then you also have cone lights, which is also gonna have intensity, direction, and it's gonna have angle. There's different ways of representing angle. I actually prefer using like a dot product value to indicate just how intense I want the intensity to be, and it's easier for me to think about it as like a 0 to 1, where like 1 is like a very tight cone, and then 0 is like a very, it's just half, like basically a semi-sphere light almost. But yeah, but that's like the 2 things that are really required. So if you want to make a bunch of blocks of data, I can like allocate fixed buffers for these, but that seems kind of wasteful. I can like allocate slabs based off of what the biggest one is going to be, but that's kind of dumb because I'm not going to really do much line lights. I think line lights are very particular and situational. I don't know, but it's not that much information, honestly, so I could just be ultra wasteful. Use a sign of this, the size of this, and then just allocate the max amount with the worst case scenario assumed here. I do actually like the DOMs. Oh, delayed onset. Yeah, onset muscle soreness, because I know I did a good job as I go to the gym a decent amount now. I don't feel it as often. I think it's from using less used muscles. Yeah, that's true. I love that. All right, so far we've been going like. At some point, ambient sounds was in the lead, and then chill VGM was in the lead. But I think everything so far the popular thing is just stick with just sounds. So we shall do that. We shall just stick with sounds, and maybe later I'll do some ambient stuff. Shotgun a blast of light, kind of, when you have angle like maxed out. I think a shotgun is probably the most applicable. Like, like point light is a grenade. Cone light's a shotgun. The sun is just a nuke. Actually, no, that's still kind of a point light. A nuke would just be a really, really strong point light. I don't know what sun would be as far as military arsenal is concerned. Yeah, I'm using. I'm just using regular Vim. Oh, Rio Darno. Just regular old Vim, stock Vim. So we have these different layouts. Yeah, I was gonna do like a radius of. Because this is the way I did it in my other implementation of this. Where I just allocated intensities. Honestly, like the thing that's common across all of them is going to be intensities and radius. And I kind of like having things as these properties, because otherwise, every time you want to access information, you have to like. If I were going to do like an array of or slabs of bytes with a pointer to them, then like every time you want to query something, you have to get that pointer to that slab and then cast it into whatever appropriate data layout you're dealing with, and then you can access the value you're looking for. Whereas like having these discrete components there, like. Just allocated. Seems simple to me. So I think we might just do that. We have color. It's gonna be kind of wasteful because color's a float 4. I don't know. I have to think about a line. I have to think about how this is gonna be structured. I don't know. We'll just do the simple thing for right now, and then we can just make decisions later. Color 1. Honestly, this can be a common thing we're going to be doing every single time, so I may as well just format it in a very convenient way right now, so I can just do this. So you have types, you have color, intensities, radius. Right, this is using position as well. Position's another component that's required here, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, how can I neglect that? And this would need 2 of that as well. Thank you for this cozy corner of the internet, Cozy. I don't want it to, but I'm going to try to sleep. You go sleep. Alright, Syndicate. I don't want to, but I'm going to go to sleep. If you see me back in chat and know that I failed. All good. Well, I hope you don't. Hope you get your rest and get ready to face the day tomorrow. So, you have it going, alright? So, yeah, point, line, sun, cone. Direction does not matter. Or position does not matter. Direction's the only thing that really matters. Yes and yes. Position does not matter, but if you ever do like cast shadows, then like you can. I use position to help with dealing with cast shadows, but there's another way of dealing with that. So yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that. We're doing like a very simple game, so I'm not gonna worry about cast shadows. This is like a top-down terminal RPG that's gonna be having. It's already cool that we're gonna have sprites and shaders and stuff working there. I don't think I'm gonna go the extra mile of doing. We're working to fundamentally kind of like, I don't know, it's 3D still, but the presentation is not gonna be like that. I don't know. Maybe I'll do cast shadows. We'll see. Okay, but we have a feel for the layout of data here. Cool. I can't type today. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, position. I want to calculate the size of this truck at some point. I mean, it's not that much lights though, so it's not a big deal, but still. So we have this. Color, intensities, radius, position, max lights. And there's all the stuff that's necessary for the first point light. Then we're gonna have the stuff for the second one, for the line light. Stuff that's like never gonna be used, honestly. Maybe I'm being too premature, but I don't know. If you're doing your own light system, why not have some weird and interesting lights? Why not? Cool. So we have all this information set up. Now we have to have a way of like... Oh, right, and we have to also have a table of indicating if they're alive or not. So let's do that. I guess charm. Okay, cool. So we're gonna have two simple functions. Are we gonna have a light reference? I think we're gonna do that. So we're gonna do the type def on the int. I like using like a specific type, even though it's just an int, because it makes it very clear what this int is referencing to. In this case, an index into our light system. If you just have a int like somewhere, hopefully you have a good name, and usually I do, but still, it's nicer to have something that makes it very clear what the intention of that integer is. Okay, so we request light. Worst case scenario, turn 1. Otherwise, no, I actually want to do. Oh, you know, we have to have instances of this as well. This is gonna be dumb. I don't I don't like this. Actually, no, this should be fine. Should I keep it as light or lighting? It's more to type, but it feels more correct. You feel me? I don't know, maybe I'm just being picky. Nope, I prefer the way I prefer typing light instead of lighting though. There's a couple things actually. There's is alive and then is reserved. This is a very distinct thing. Because maybe you can have a light that exists but just deactivated right now. And I think that's more pertinent. So you're going to just do is reserved instead. And if it is, continue. Otherwise, you return I. Simple, dude. Super duper simple. And then I guess even simpler thing is return light. And it's just gonna be cool. So you got the basic stuff here. I'm still not, I don't know. It feels kind of wasteful having everything allocated like this, but I don't know. Oh, you know what also? Because it's kind of stupid to just, oh, I want to request a light, and now I want to set the type of light. Like, if you're requesting a light, it means that you also want to, like, provide information as to how to set it. So, I think what I'm going to do is take in a void pointer, or take in an E light type, and then take in a void pointer to, some information, and based off the enum we can figure out how to cast this. Yeah, you know what, honestly dude, I think it might be better just to make a bunch of structs. I think it might be actually just easier and nicer to just do it and just allocate like slabs of like the largest size struct variant and then do stuff based off of that. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Just like we do. Isn't it type def struct? Yeah, I got it backwards. And I need to specify this because like now it's gonna be something that exists in the code base, and I may or may not need to create a type called point. Or actually I could specify this like point. Usually it's more like a specification for methods, but I guess we'll do it for structs too. Oh my goodness. Okay, cool. and then position. Yeah, I think we're just gonna do it this way. What are you doing? So I'm working on this Ascii rendering project, and we got to this point where we have actual objects in the scene. We can have our camera shoot rays and collide with objects, and we're rendering the product of the shader, and it looks cool. It's working fine. Like, we can render shaders in the terminal. And now I'm implementing a lighting system so that not only can we have objects and have shaders on them, but we can also have a lit shader variant. Because right now this is an unlit shader, but I'm gonna make a lit shader. That's cool because this is like this is an Ascii terminal. Like, I can select this, right? This is just straight up all Ascii, but it has the same kind of structure. Like, it has like a similar kind of some elements that are similar to other rendering pipelines that are more typical in games. So like, if anyone here does shader stuff, you'll totally recognize, let's see if I can find it. You're gonna totally recognize this, yeah, here we go. This visual. Let's say, here we go. Also, I refactored this, I have to update the usage. But this should just compile. So yeah, if anyone does shaders, you'll recognize this square. You'll be very familiar with this square. Yeah, the CRT is a choice. I have nicer monitors. I have them on the side actually, but yeah, this is very much for fun and a choice I make. So yeah, it's pretty rad. And that's what we're in the middle of doing right now. It's just implementing our lighting system. And right now I'm thinking, I'm changing how we're doing stuff. Instead of having like a fat array, we're gonna have like still a fat array, but it's gonna be instead of having a bunch of arrays, instead we're gonna have one array of just a bunch of bytes. And instead we're gonna allocate the maximum number of lights for the largest data type this can have. And then when you grab stuff, you just get a pointer to the slab on that in this byte, and you just get the you cast that section to whatever struct you're dealing with. There's a bunch of ideas too, like right now this is there's two threads. It's like one thread that's doing all the rendering and everything, and then one separate thread that's just handling input. It's very simple, but there's a way to like make the I don't know, we're gonna have to test our profile and understand where our bottlenecks are. But if the bottlenecks is with the ray testing on the camera, which I imagine is gonna be, there's ways we can like improve it, not just in terms of implementation, but also like we can have, or making the individual ray tests less costly, but we can also partition the camera into separate quadrants and have an individual thread run and computing each individual one, or even further. There's a bunch of ways of cracking it, but we'll see how we we'll let the data push us to do that optimization. We're not going to prematurely do an optimization. So we have that. It's essentially just going to be this, but 2 times. 1, 1. Okay, I'm just gonna be lazy. Cool. So that's our light line. That's gonna be the fattest one. coding for a fat minute, man. Yeah, a fat while. Probably like 15 years or something like that. Probably more. Or maybe less. I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't kept track. Since when do you stream? I've been streaming for a long period of my life. Usually I stream like later at night because I work during the day coding, and I get to go home at night and do some more coding. Light line. We have sun as well. And I think the sun was super simple. It was just, I don't even have to. Color and I should probably specify direction. You working on a game? Yeah, I'm working on a game right now. Well, I'm building a game engine right now, but then we're gonna make a game with it. End of line. What's going on, Joseph? Do you just call me fat? Nah, brother. Or not, Jocelyn. Nah, brother. I'm calling the code fat, or specifically a struct fat. How old are you, bro? I don't like saying my age, but I'm like I'm getting close to my 30s. So I'm still in my 20s. I'm still a hip young kid. I mean, kind of. We had some interns in the company, and I was chatting with them, and I feel like I'm out of touch with the youth, man. That's alright. We can be out of touch. Sun. Okay, we have the cone light. That's the other thing we need to do. Cone, I don't really know how we can go about it. There's intensity, color, direction. I also want to have a float for whatchamacallit? Angle? But it's not like in normal, it's not like in radians or degrees, but it's actually in like a dot product space. Almost 30. Let's go, dude. Yeah, Kings. Yep. I'm glad you dig. It's cool, man. Also, I think we're getting some pings in the Discord. Which, by the way, we have a Discord as well, guys. So feel free to join and share stuff you're doing or ask questions about coding and whatnot. I think everyone here is super knowledgeable and willing to answer questions, including me. I'm willing to answer questions. Cool. Yeah, everything's good over there. So I'm gonna deal with this. I have to make a dot product thing as well. But so far this looks good to me, and of course this is like the biggest one. So we're gonna do we're gonna change this. We're still gonna have our types, and we're reserved and is alive. That's a universal thing that we're gonna have. All this though, gone. Instead, we're gonna just do char data max score lights times size of, and then in this case light line is the biggest one. This is our biggest struct, so we're going to use the size of that and allocate slabs of chars for that. So the size of this times the maximum lights our engine can handle. And then, yeah. Simple enough. I have to think about how easy or difficult this API is going to be to use. And this is where things get weird, because I always get messed up with like pointer stuff and addresses to arrays. So we're gonna get I is gonna be our index into here, and we can mark it as reserved. Actually, this contains an array, and we index into the elements. Is reserved equals true. And I think we can also have like an indicator of like, hey, do we want this to be alive or not? I don't know. Does C have default initializers? I don't think so. Also, no true. It's 1 or 0. Let's see here. Oh, we got couples. Couples. What couples are we talking about? Is it ever too late to start coding or not? I don't think it's ever too late to start coding. I think anyone can learn how to do some coding. Yeah, I wouldn't be too. I think people get too psyched out about it, and like the thing might be this easy, but because people hype up coding as like this ultra difficult, like big brain, you have to play 5D chess to understand it. You get so much anxiety about it that once you try to learn it, even though it's not that hard, in your brain you set up this thing of, oh, I'm too dumb to understand this. This is gonna be way too complex or whatever. So either you don't even people don't get over the hump to even try it, or when they try doing it, they kind of, they're so anxious about it that it makes it super difficult to pick it up. I'm gonna make a tutorial series, I think. Or at least a set of some videos talking about the basics of programming and all this stuff. But like, programs are not that crazy in a weird way. Like, there's a lot of art, like invented complexity, but programs don't. At the end of the day, they're just doing a set of few things, right? Like, you're either declaring information, modifying information. Or calling functions that will do one of those two things. Oh my god, Cozy Kevin. Yeah, it's Melon. What's going on, Melon? More cold setup. Yeah, we're in the cold setup right now. At first, or did you get the hang of it at first? I mean, I don't really know how to answer that question, dude. Like, what is getting the hang of it? Clearly, at some point, I got the hang of it, but there's a lot of things I didn't quite click or understand or know. But I mean, like, it all starts with the basics. Just how do you print something to a screen? And what is an if statement? What's a for loop? What is like this whole stuff going on? What are the basic elements of programming? Like, you're gonna realize like that things that seem like complicated are not that complicated. Like, I remember I was with a bunch of friends and like in a voice chat, and we were joking about different engine stuff and whatever. And I was like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna make a game engine, dude. Here, I'm just gonna do a while true, haha." And they're like, "Yeah, that's how engines work. They just have an infinite loop." And for some reason, that was like, I never thought about that, but I was like, oh, I guess, yeah. Like, I guess in my mind, for some reason, I was thinking, oh, there's got to be something special or something different in how. But no, it's just like a program that's infinitely looping. Huh. There's no weird function pointer thing or whatever, or some weird. No, it's just the simple basic building blocks you learn on like day one of programming is the stuff that's just it's used. Like, but yeah, like as soon as you start getting over that, you just start realizing, oh, even the super complex programs at a very basic level are just doing the same, using the same set of tools. But yeah, it's never too late. And if you find it interesting, I encourage you to just explore it. And just have fun with it, man. If you have like these expectations of like, oh, I'm doing this because I want to get a 6-figure salary, dude. I want to learn this so I can get a 5th yacht or something. No, dude. Or like going into it thinking, oh, dude, I need to become like Carmack and write Doom and do 3D complex data structures or whatever. And it's like, no. You could just go into it and just start doing stuff, and you know. If you think about it as a hobby and pursue it like a hobby, I think you'll have not only better enjoyment, but also like go further than if you think about it as like a mechanism to an end goal. Light Reserved is alive, cool. And then let's see how this works. I might make a, I don't know. Excuse me. I'm gonna see if I like this, and if not, we can always change it. Oh right, I forgot enum members. I like prepending with a lowercase e, so it's very clear what is an enum member of. That it's an enum member and not like something else, some other type. This game developer talks about things while coding ASMR is insane. Well, I'm glad you dig it, man. Who's the guy who owns it? NVIDIA? I don't know. He's the leather jacket guy. That's how I know him by. That's the only way I know of him. He says coding makes you smarter in every possible way. Literally builds your brain. I think it definitely exercises your brain in a certain way, and it teaches you to think in a very different way. And so I think there's some truth to it. But I don't think it's like the end-all be-all of like intellectual growth or advancement. I think the more fundamental thing is just logic, and coding teaches you how to deal with a certain, like it teaches you to deal with logic very, very heavily, but it's also a very specific, it's not specific, but it's just a part of one island of like logical thinking, and there's a whole other set of different islands in the world that exercise that as well. What's going on, Sasha? Insane insomnia, not going to work today. Oh, GG's. I don't know if I'm a programmer because I think in patterns, or if I think in patterns because I'm a programmer. Yeah, I don't know. The one or the other. I think on some level you have to have some capacities to see patterns and reason. On the other hand, like, there's ways of thinking or breaking down or architecting problems that I didn't inherently have that ability, but instead I kind of got cultivated by exposure to seeing other people and how they solve problems, or different experiences. So something that wasn't just inherently built into me. Let's see here. So we're given this. Index into it. We're indexing into that area, and I want to assign the data for this void pointer. So we're going to cast our data pointer, or light info. Let's call it light data. Into pointer for that instead, and then you can copy over the information from here to this source area. And you know, I think I might just do like a mem copy, because we haven't done that in a while, right? Why not? Honestly, we don't even have to do this whole type like switch case casting thing. Like, it makes sense if I want to access the individual members of the struct, but we're just copying. Well, I don't want to read outside the bounds though, do I? Yeah, I don't want to do that. So maybe we'll still do the explicit casts and then do stuff. Yeah, Melon's here. It's always good to see Melon. Hopefully you're doing well, Melon. Hopefully your Scratch games are still popping off. Or your animation. I saw you doing some animation stuff too. 1 second, guys. Let me get some fries. Nothing better than late night fries. It's cold. They're still good. You're coding? Let's go, dude. We have a fellow coder in here coding away. Let's go. Okay, I need to remember the API for this. Is it source and then destination? Or destination and source? Destination, source, and then size. Cool. Let me make sure Okay, cool. Cool. So destination is going to be no, not Isla. What am I doing? So just copy that into our slot. Though honestly, like, this is a compile time thing, so maybe I should just have I should just cache the size of these, because then I don't have to do this struct cast. I could just like know the size and just use that instead. Yeah, I gotta drop it. I'm trying to think about what to do the tutorial for. Should I just do like a simple, like when I used to mentor students, I would do this general, intro of programming, and it starts not even like in a language specifically, but just general ideas about programming, and like how everything is kind of an abstraction in a weird way. And then we go from there to start talking about, okay, code just fundamentally is doing like a set of few things: declaring data, mutating data, and then like, Mm. Yeah, there's like it starts off kind of like high level. I'm not sure if people want that. I think people might want to just have a more. They just get in there, man. Just start showing me how to do some C stuff, dude. Or C sharp stuff or OP or whatever. I don't know. What color scheme is that? It's a custom one I've made. I have a repo for it. I need to put it on Codeberg though. I'll do that sometime soon this week. But yeah, I'll link it at some point. It's on GitHub, I think. But yeah, I'll publish it somewhere. Also, welcome back. Good to see you here, man. Good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. I'm getting ready to chill out for the day. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to do that. Do I want to... we should probably do this too. Also, I should probably do... I always forget that about C. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't, like, I could teach basic C stuff, but, like, how to architect your project, I'm probably the worst person to ask about that, because I architect things in a very peculiar, weird, and me type of way. Because I have a specific set of things I want to... I have a specific vision for how I want to work my project. And I'm willing to make concessions that other people don't want to make. The keys are so satisfying. I'm glad to hear that, man. I always wonder if I'm being too... I always wonder if I'm yapping too much and I should just do the keys more or yap more and let the keys do less. I don't know, we'll see. But, where are we at here? So we define the types. Maybe we could just calculate it every single time, I don't know. I think there might be an internal table it has. Yeah, I think we're just going to do it like this. I know C++ has like a const expression thing. Or maybe I could just do a define. Instead of making a function, I can just make a define. I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm not gonna because that's still not caching it. I would have to make like a variable for it and then like have I'd probably do an array that you can index with the enum and then have the byte sizes stored there and then just do it that way. But I don't think there's a big cost to just doing size. So I'm not going to add this additional complexity for this. Yeah. Maybe at most I can do like a function that does a switch case statement. So we can make a generalized one. And it's going to take in that enum of the enum And then just do this whole switch case statement. Okay, so we do that. Type. I'm not going to do this modification stuff. We're just going to do. Here we go. Yep. This break's unnecessary as well. Yeah, we don't need that. Okay, beautiful. So now instead of doing this whole rigmarole, we can instead condense this into a cool. Excuse me. And then we can just mem copy this. So we can just take data, size, mem copy, and that should theoretically just work. Cool. You know, honestly, I almost want to make this a struct that contains a pointer to its slot of data so that we can cache it and we don't have to do that recast every time. And instead I can like modify it. So maybe I might have it like pass in a void pointer that we're going to mutate. I guess it's not really that crazy to get it. And I don't have to pass or make a call on that every single time, so maybe we just won't. It's a nice mix. I don't care if I just listen to it in the background, so it's nice to hear both. Okay, it's good to hear, man. Thanks for the input. And it's kind of a mix every time, because like, sometimes I need to focus, and sometimes I need to talk myself through a problem to understand what's going on. Okay, so we're good here, I think. Like, I'm pretty sure this sets, we can manage this stuff elsewhere now. Well, is there an easy way to modify this? Oh, I guess we can. Excuse me. Dude, I'm seriously thinking about this. Okay, so we have a reference for the light index. Then we could check to see if is reserved is honestly, we're just going to change this to I. You can check to see if this is true. And if it's not true, in fact, I'm going to do this instead. We can return early with a null. Otherwise, we can just do data. I'm not sure if this is correct. I think I have to actually be like this. Where's the ampersand? There we go. I don't know. It's always weird for me when it comes to doing pointer stuff with arrays. And then shaders. Let's go to session and include this now. This is not really dependent. It's like a self-independent module, so I don't have to actually worry about where I place this for the most part. So I might even just include this directly in main. Opinion on day trading? Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't do that. I wouldn't want to do that. It just seems. It just is gambling, right? I guess if you really are super doing your homework 24/7 and have very specific sources, then like it becomes less gambling. But you know. I feel like you only get to do that if you're like in the U.S. government. Oh man, love your channel, brother. Thank you, Dante. I appreciate it. Hope you have a good night, man. A developer stopping his programming banishes thought. Continue coding, Melon. Yeah, back to the code mines, Melon. You don't get to get out. Okay, we've done some wrong here. So where is the wrong stuff happening? It's in light, it's main 131 or 31. Yeah, it's just called light. What's the issue here, officer? Yeah, light.h. What's the problem? Oh, it's 43 in light. Okay. Simple stuff. Yeah, I'm just missing semicolons there. On the enum. Am I missing it anywhere else? Probably am. I don't know. Oh yeah, the defines. I'm so used to using semicolons, I forget that when you do define, you don't need to do a semicolon. You can just do that, yeah. 79. What's going on here? Oh, you're not a struct. Yeah, that makes sense. These are structs, these are not. Struct. E-line times onotype, E-line type. At 85. What's the problem here, officer? E-light type. It's enum. Do I need to specify that it's enum? I guess so. Type name Eli 117. Yep. 119. What's the issue here? Oh. So it's unhappy with the mem copy I'm doing here. So Ascii data. Yeah, this is where my memory gets fuzzy. I get good at it, and then I stop using C for a fat minute, and then I have to relearn how I handle this. Also, yeah, no. Data. Huh. Okay. 232. Why are you mad at me here at 232? Expected declaration statement at the end of input at 232. What? Why are you mad at me? Do I need a semicolon at the very end? Ascii is reserved. At the end of input. What? I'm sorry, do I need like a semicolon after each function? No. Also, there should be light underscore return. Do I amuse you, compiler? In function light size of data. Oh, light size of data? What's going on here? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my bad. Undefined reference to function request light. Undefined reference to light get size of data. What am I missing here? Oh, I have get size of data. No, size of data. That's a simple fix. Beautiful. I mean, we can't test it to see if it works, so we actually have to, like, we just built the light system, right? Now we have to integrate it into our shader. Oh, whoops. Okay, let's go to main. So we have these steps. I'm going to move this into an entity at some point, but for right now, we're going to just do this in main. So what happens here? We do the camera stuff, we build object, set shaders. Okay, cool, that's fine and dandy. We build our object. Let's set up the scene more. Let's make a point light. Light underscore point equals I forgot the order. I'm not gonna lie, I already forgot the order of things. I could always make a function to do this, but I'm just gonna do this. Okay, so radius, we'll do like, I don't know, we're in pixels, right? So it's going to be about, maybe like 200 pixels, I think seems reasonable to me. Intensity, we can start with 1. Color. Do I have a constructor for color? I don't think so. That's alright. You can do, I don't know. It's gonna be, let's do blue. And then position is going to be like, I don't know. I'm going to do a position of like 32, 32, 0. Seems reasonable to me. Yeah, it's a retro TV, dude. It's a true blue retro TV monitor, complete with green mode. It's for maximum eye relaxation. Is betting your money against or with the market. Yeah, well, there's a very big distinction, right? Because day trading, you're dealing with like shorts, like you're dealing with very short-term trades. It's very different than like very long-term market trades where you're betting on general long-term trends of the market. So, like for example, you can a simple example is like the S&P 500. It's an index fund that's very common. And like the predicate of that is just that, hey, long term the market always increases in aggregate. So like, why not just bet on the entirety of the market? So the whole idea there is you're betting on a long term growth, which may not have very exciting returns and percentages, but is a lot more risk adverse compared to like you know, the stuff you can do with day trading or options trading or whatever, which exposes you to higher potential rewards but also way more significant risks. Either way, like I don't like gambling whatsoever. I'd rather just work on something that's on a skill or just something that's providing an actual utility to society. I was going Runtime Ranger. I like Ranger. It's a great your name is the same name as this file viewing application I use. It's very convenient. I like it a lot. Alright, so we constructed our light. Hopefully it works. Request light. I forgot what it is. Honestly, instead of having one general request light thing, I should make one specifically for the type of light we're requesting. That just seems more general and easy to remember. In fact, I'm just going to do that because like I'm never going to request a light without knowing what type of data I want to have there. So also, I'm pretty sure I did do this light request, or I did light return. And in this case, it becomes much more simple. Now, instead of just a void pointer, you're doing like a whole, whatchamacallit? And then we're going to request the underlying, we're going to call the underlying function. Beautiful. And that's simple. I like that. I like that. Am I actually stupid and Darko referring to the streamer? Don't be. You're not stupid. You're a stupid dog. I read it that same way as well. I thought he was talking to you. So as far as what I'm doing, I'm just doing implementing a lighting system for my game engine. We have this engine that for making ASCII-based renderer, right? That runs in your terminal, and we've been doing quite a lot these past streams, and this is the current product of it, where you have a game object in the world, camera, and the cool thing is not only that it's the terminal and it's rendering this, but we're also having the same shader architecture that's common in like other engines, kind of. But we're doing something a little bit different. We're doing like a little RAID test from the camera for doing this stuff. So this is where we're at last time. We have an object, it can run shader and output color. Cool. Now I want to make a lit shader that receives lighting. But to do that, we needed a light system, so that's what I've built here. This light, I'm building the light system, and then we're going to make a shader that will tap or hook into it and be able to do the additional rendering that's required for making these objects look good. Or make them look like set in the world. What's going on here? Why is this wrong? It's at 128. What's the issue here? Oh wait, I need to do void point or void, right? No, not void. I have to do the return type of light reference. I'm sorry, what? Where else do we have a light request? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Order matters in C. I'm sorry, what? Okay, yeah, that fixed it. Within main. At what line? 107. Okay. Before F3 expected bracket. What do you mean? Oh, right. 116. Yeah, light request point. And now this is simpler because then I could just pass in point light directly into here, and I could say 1. Yeah, so I'm providing a light point. Oh, I need to pass in a pointer to it, my bad. Cool. If I run it out, it's not going to look like anything, but I just want to see if it's segfault, and it does segfault. Okay, cool. So let's GDB task out, run, yes. Let's see where it fails. Without source file. Okay, that's great. So things have gone wrong, and we are at at the place of figuring out why it's gone wrong. Thankfully, we've been here before, so I can do my markers to see where exactly things are going wrong. Also, Melon, feel free to mention what you're, or share what you're working, dude. Cool, so it's happening here. That request point. Let me catch up in chat too. Oh, what program is this? It's my own program. It's like a game engine project. Okay, life called, and I have to go. I was lurking for the most part, but it's nice hanging. Good night and all. You take care, Senkai. Thanks for popping in, and hope you do well, dude. Play code on Roblox and Roblox as well. Can't believe swoon and do devs like me, so it's not fun. I go to Roblox is what I mean. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, Roblox is it's an oddity. It's a very odd place. Yeah, I remember like in middle school, I had a friend doing a bunch of. I had a friend I was doing in the very early days of my game deving stuff. I was like on Game Maker and using that to do some games, and he was on Roblox and learning some Lua stuff. And that was a long time ago, though, and their engine was at a very weaker place. I have no idea where they're at right now, though. Probably more insane. Request point. Request point. It's gotta be happening at like over here. So I'm gonna place another mark. Build. And seg fault's there too. So it's got to be happening at our mem copy that's going on. So our destination is slight data I. I think I need to do this. And that was it. Okay, cool. Yeah, like I said, it's always odd. I'm not sure if this is actually correct, the data we're copying from. Like I think maybe I'd have to, I don't know. We'll see. I'll look at this later, but that seems to be correct right now. So this is working. I'm happy with that. Let's go into our shaders, and we're gonna make a new shader. We're gonna make a standard lit. And it's gonna be 1. So we're gonna do the same stuff we do here. I'm gonna try to simplify a lot of this though, because there's like a lot of boilerplate that can be simplified into like a sampling function. Like truly this is like this stuff should all be kind of condensed into like a sample function. And I think I started writing a sample function if I'm not mistaken, but I can just do it. It's gonna produce what? RGB. Yeah. What do we have to do for sampling this? Honestly, I just want to produce a color. We need to take in a vector or float 2. I think I have to specify that struct here. the UV, and it's going to produce a color. That's like the goal we have here. So I'm going to yoink this. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're going to grab these unsigned bytes, place them there. Oh, what's going on here? Is a split keyboard good? I like it a lot. But I can live without it too. I posted a Reddit on Reddit my work, and the first comment I got is a Spanish dude telling me the cars coming from the right are flipped. Upside down, gotcha. It's so much fun. It's a pretty good engine, but I have to pay to upload my games a monthly subscription if I want my games to be anywhere on anyone else's page but the kids. That's so weird. That's like odd. It's super backwards. What PC do you have? Here's my system. Here's my OS, or like my setup. I thought you just took a hacksaw into your keyboard and split it in half. Somehow made it work. Your dog. That's goofy. No, it is a keyboard I bought like this. I enjoy it though. So let me just write this simple utility for myself first. I might make like a shader utilities thing and then have this be purely just application specific shaders. So I'm trying inside char RGB, height, some stuff we do there. And then finally we get the pixel from image, data main texture, nope. Here's do image, and then RGB. Likewise, we are not going to get this from the data. Why is this? Okay, yeah. I could just use the texture surface, but whatever. For right now, we're just going to do this. With height. Got this going on. I'm going to turn final color, which is sample. And now this can be simplified into just a simple I should actually make a specific or BMP sample, let's say that instead. Sample. Now here we just do return. And then what we're sampling is the is that what it's called? Where's the struct for this? The struct main texture. That's dumb. I'm gonna just call it main or something. Or just image. Or albedo. I don't know, there's different ways of going about it, dude. What question? Oh, what's going on? Oh, that's funny. That's funny, Melon. I didn't even realize you can do that. I didn't even realize you can do that with Nightbot. That is hilarious, dude. Let's go on, Brabbit. Yeah, that's a short sight on Nightbot. Yeah, it's the only thing it says. Yeah, it's because people always ask why am I using a CRT, and that's my response. Yeah, I'm thinking, like, what are we gonna call this? It's unlit, so it's just gonna be main, I guess. FD data, sample. And then like data UV. I also want to keep this variant that we have here. But then there's going to be a variant of this that's like it's going to be hit.uv. Not going to do times width. Yeah, that's all there is to it. And then all this gets simplified down. Yeah. So this shader becomes like super duper simplified. Because it just becomes BMP sample. Beautiful, dude. So I can yoink this. Now we can make our standard lit. It's gonna be kind of similar to this, honestly. Which is just going to be but then we have to do our light processing stuff, and that's where everything's going to get very interesting. The simplest thing we can do is just do the base. Oh, there's something we're neglecting as well. So let's talk about lighting, modeling lighting. And there's like a simple model called like Fong lighting. We can use it just to illustrate the idea of like different components of light sources and creating the illusion that objects are lit. So there's kind of three components in your light source. There's I have a PowerPoint somewhere, don't I? I have a video. We're gonna use the video. I'm gonna go to my channel real quick. View channel. Yeah, this one here. Shut your face. Don't talk. Shush. And we have here. We talk about the different components of light sources, and there's like this really handy visual here. And you have the three components is ambient, diffuse, and specularity. If you combine them, you create the illusion that an object is lit. Compared to just like an unlit object, which just shows the base color of the image. These three components are what's needed to create the illusion that your object is lit. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, I'm just kind of restating the important stuff. So I've created the structure for having all the information that's needed for some of these components, two of these components, which is diffuse and specularity. Well, now we have to set the ambient light. So, for example, you can think about diffuse and specularity being a product of like the light that's directly hitting the object. So you can think about objects having a certain level, a certain fundamental color that's behind them, and the light that hits it reveals it. So that's kind of what diffuse is. It's the base underlying color being revealed by the light source, and specularity is the actual a reflection of the actual light emitter itself, or things reflected from the environment, like very clear stuff from the environment. That's kind of how I think about it. Ambient is the base color of the environment around you, because light doesn't hit a surface and die immediately. It hits other stuff in the environment and bounces around. So here you have different ambient lights, colors. And ambient color is just what colors can be displayed in the shadows here. So we need to add that as well in our game, a way of defining the ambient light so we can figure out how to draw shadows, or what color the shadows should be. I think we'll just make that something inner light .h. That's something just part of the fundamental struct. And this is going to be a simple field. It's just going to be a that's all it is, ambient color. What are you guys doing in chat? What is going on, dude? The old school, cool. Yep, super about the old school runtime. Oh my gosh. Alright, you guys, you can continue being insane in chat. So, let's do the thing. So, yeah, we set the ambient light. I think that's all there is to it, honestly. So we can just... Is that all there is to it? Yeah, that's all there is, actually. Cool. I might just put this over here then. On the top. And within main, we can do is it just lights? No, it's light. I don't know, let's set it to be like... Okay, also I need to do this, because this is recurring. I need to make a simple color function so that I can just not have to do this syntax every single time. Because tear me apart, Lisa. I don't know what I'm going to name it though. That's a problem. I guess I can do like a lowercase color for like a constructor. But that feels like I can run into name collisions super easily with that. And it's gonna be annoying. I do color 4 because this is specifying all. Or C4. I can do that, C4. I'm pretty sure nothing else in the code base is gonna. That's not gonna come up anywhere else. Unless I make some kind of military sim game, but that's never gonna happen. So we're gonna just do C4, and then I can just make let's think about this. 0, 0, maybe a little bit of blue, and then 1. Alpha doesn't matter as much. Okay, now we can go back to our shader. Standard lit. When we build, where's the function where we build our shaders? Here we go. I look away 1 second to greet my mom, and this is what Chad does. Yeah. Dude, Cozy, the stickers on your phone are so cool. Oh yeah, I forget you guys can see that, can you? Yeah, I got this at a vintage computer festival, and my favorite one is of C#, because it's just a blade. It's like, yep. The language has hurt me quite a bit. It's basically, every time I do C#, it's kind of self-harm at some level. See if I find it. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that very well, but C#. It's just a razor blade. It's hilarious. I don't know. I like joshing about that language. Honestly, Rust should be that, but we're not gonna go down that route again. We're not gonna go down that route again. Oh man. So we have that called UV hit UV. Okay, cool. And now we can just iterate. Gosh, how am I gonna do this? We can start with the very simple thing of just implementing the point light, and then we can expand to encompass more and more and more and more. I think that might be the way I go about handling this. I should probably make a shader utilities for handling this stuff. But we can just work directly here. Okay, lights are a very independent thing, so I actually might just have them exist beyond everything else. Because then I can add like the utilities there, but right now I'll just implement this here. Is that what it's called? Max lights. Okay, cool, got it. Okay. Continue. Otherwise, if it is reserved... Yeah, there's like this thing I did. We had like... color... composite... which I start off with like... transparent. Or just like... uninitialize. We have like luminosity. Luminance. And I think it's like it starts at like a subtractive level. I forgot how I do it. I think I do like a multiplicative or something. Unity engine? No, my own engine. Yeah, I'm currently writing my own engine runtime. I think the toughest language logo is the Rust crab logo. Dude, I hate... Here's the greatest heartbreak for me is that despite Rust, like whatever it is, like the opinions, they have great marketing. Like the logo is sick. I dig the crab. Like I dig like all the stuff from Rust as far as like how it's visually presented and everything, and then like and the same surface level stuff like cargo and crate and all that stuff. It's very nice, just that the language itself is such a pain. It's such a pain, man. It's a heartbreaker. Brother. Yeah, I'm trying to remember how I do this. I figured that the goal here is I'm eventually going to do a lerp of some sort between like I'm going to do a lerp of like, and we have to implement lerp too. We don't have, like, I don't think does C have a lerp function? A linear interpolation function? Well, I guess I'm just going to have to copy and paste this. What's going on, Game Dev Sasha? Where can I buy an antique light bulb same as yours? You just go on Amazon. That's what I did. They're pretty cheap too. Oh, you have to get a dimmer as well, because normal wattage on would blow this out in like an instant. Or very quickly, at least in a couple minutes. So you have to get a light dimmer and then put it to like the lowest setting so that you're able to have this nice luminescent glow that doesn't burn your hands. Wow. The language is so annoying at first, but if you push through, it's kind of nice having all the syntax and rules. It's like you couldn't mess up if you wanted to. Feel safe. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, right? The thing is, like, it doesn't matter if you actually learn the rules. There's still so much friction. And it's not even pushing you to architect things in the most ideal way. And like, it's safe if you buy into their understanding of what safe is, but for me, like, I think it's not, I don't agree with it. Like, for the 2 years I use it, that's like where I'm at. Yeah, and I ended up getting to this point where I was like, to do a lot of perf stuff, I ended up having to do so much unsafe that it's like, what's the point of the language then? I can have the same kind of, I guess an alternate to what I would have wanted if I was doing that rusting was probably Zig's, probably the closest thing. to that kind of ecosystem, but I think I'm just gonna stick with C and then see whatever language pans out in the language wars, or wait till Jai drops and then see how that is. But I don't know, I'm enjoying my simple, good, honest life in C. What are we doing? Oh yeah, I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna do this luminance calculation. Yeah. It's gonna be equal to. Do I have a distance function for my float 3 structs? There's a fast approximation, but or not approximation, but all right. Right. Why is this using an int too? What are we doing? I think I was using an int class. I started this with an int class, and then I started massaging stuff from there to here. Yeah, you can probably condense this. I'll have to revisit using vectorized instruction sets. To me, they're like two different mindsets, and I learned to listen to what the language wants instead of being like, well, I wouldn't do it like that and see, why can't I just... Well, here's the thing, right? I went into Rust without really having any other low-level language stuff. Like, Rust was my starter language, because I was like, this is new, this is different, and like, you know... Like, if I'm going to start doing low-level stuff, why not? Let's try Rust. So I started with Rust without the bias of, this is how I would do it in C or C++, because, like, the last time I did C++ was, like, you know, like in middle school for, like, a few weeks and stuff like that. Like, I never did anything very much serious with C++ to that point, let alone C. So I started with just ready to adopt the Rust mindset. So, like, it wasn't like I was being clouded by my judgment. Maybe at most, like, from C# and stuff, but, like, that really didn't really impact that at all, because it's very different. So, like, I read the book, and, like, I was looking at different lectures and talks about how to architect stuff with Rust and whatnot, and different ways of going about it. But it just felt like, to me, that, you know, it was so much... And for me, I didn't realize it was that much friction, right? I thought, this is just fine. This is what's normal. This is whatever, right? But then, like, once you start having... Okay, but anyways. Once I switched to C++, like, I was able to rewrite so much... I matched and surpassed the functionality of a project I was working on in Rust in, like, 1 or 2 weeks. Like, months of work condensed into, like, 2 weeks. And that's, I was like, oh. Yeah, the cost for the friction is, like, terrible. And it's even, like, using Rust Rover and having access to refactor tools and whatnot. And, like, it's, like, crazy. And, like, yeah. I don't enjoy it, and I don't think it's not even about enjoyment. I don't think it truly achieves what it's like. The whole idea, the idea of Rust works is if the friction cost you're paying exceeds the security or error cost that will happen eventually, right? And yeah, the borrow checker and other things that they enforce very much negate quite a lot of classes of bugs that can emerge. At the same time, though, the friction cost is just kind of insane. And even if you fully adopt it and get used to it, where like now you're just architecting things in the Rust way, I don't think architecting things the Rust way is always the ideal way of doing things. And that's where I started getting to the things that I was talking about, where I ended up just having to do a bunch of unsafe Rust to achieve the things I wanted in the way I wanted to. How do you know where what does? Crazy how you organize everything so well. 15 years, but dude, it just takes time. And you just start by Googling, man. Like, the information is all there, dude. When I was young, that's how I started. I was like, how do you make a game? And then every time I hit a Roblox, I didn't know something, you just Google it and you eventually get it. And especially nowadays, there's like such a wealth of information. Back in the day, like I'd have to Google and like try to find a YouTube video for something on Game Maker and like go from there, but and hope that I had the right thing. Otherwise, I'd have to like take parts of information I got from other places and fuse them together. And yeah, a lot of this stuff is just Googling. Flow 3. I also like Rust, but for low level other than C or C++, I'd go with Sig, to be honest. That seems to be the consensus. That's what I was kind of mentioning, like what the other option would be. F3 distance, yep, that's what it's called. I should probably make some unit testing tools for myself. And we'll do that eventually. Where's our input? We have hit, yeah. Hit position, and then what else? We have, right, we have to get the point position. That's a thing we need to get. I guess all points should have positions, shouldn't they? I might just like exclude that from the actual type and just generalize it out. Because like, I think that's something I want to have easily accessible without having to do this whole rigmarole of type casting and or casting that void pointer to the appropriate type. Yeah, I think I'm just going to separate this out and make this be here. Size of data. Here we go. Positions. Which means I can actually go through all these different... Oh. There's some ones that position is not actually a very applicable term, is there? Like these have 2 position values. Sun doesn't really have a position, it's just a direction. Cone does have a position, and I'm kind of surprised I forgot to add that, so I guess I'll just keep position as a property in these, and then for the ones that have 2 positions, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might just like keep one and remove the other. I don't know. I think for now though I'm just going to keep this here and we'll figure out what to do with those later. Can you call me Mr. Cozy? Yeah, you can just call me Cozy. So like Rust but for low level other than C or C++, I'd go with Zig, to be honest. The cool thing is the more you do research, the better you get at it. At what exactly? Like Rust or Zig or Cabin Guy, because yeah, that's yeah, Cabin Guy. That's what it was called before. I find that funny, honestly. That's that's why I changed my name in the Discord to Cabin Guy. Oh, you're just talking about learning in general. Gotcha. Yeah, that's just how it is. And as far as how you structure projects, like that just comes with intuition. Like you build that by just working on a bunch of projects and doing a bunch of projects in a bad way, and then you realize I don't like the way I had to do things there, so we're gonna try organizing it a little bit differently, and hopefully the second time around, or third, or 50th time around, it feels better. Yeah, position. Okay, so we can go here, back into shader, and we can do we calculate the distance, and then we can do like the distance divided by radians, or not radians, radius. Or I guess p distance, like percentage distance. Yeah. We're gonna have to to access this data, we have to like, no matter what, we're gonna have to do the cast thing. That reinterpretation. So it'd be like, data's already taken. P data. Okay, cool. We have P data. In which case we can like access this stuff now. Like we can do P data dot radius, and yeah, maybe we don't have to do position. Yeah, because you have to treat these anyways as their types, so we may as well just do, yeah, might as well just get rid of it, honestly. Yeah. I think we'll keep it the way we had it. And then instead of doing light position, we'll just do P. P distance divided by P data radius. Hey, can I get some curry goat rice and I love that. Some curry goat rice and peas. And he just like ends up yelling. I can't do that. People are sleeping in my house right now, but I can't. If I could, I would yell the rice and peas stuff, dude. Okay, so I think we do this. We get distance. We have a normalized value of it that approaches 0 increasingly. It may exceed it too if it's like too far. Right. And then We're going to use this mostly, we're just doing a diffusion. So we're just doing ambient and diffusion. We're not doing specularity with this. We will do that eventually, but I think for now we're just going to stick with just a diffusion. Or, I don't know. We're going to have to factor in specularity at some level, but... So we're calculating a weight. The closer this is, the bigger the weight should be. That's the idea, right? Gosh, did I have to look at my code that I did for the other lighting system I did before? Out the Pixabach real quick. Wait, what? No, I'd rather finesse a pizza slice. That sounds good. Dude, don't mention pizza. You got me hungry now. Also, what's going on, Tamerka? How you doing today? Why is there some people have certain symbols? Oh, there's auto translations that's going on. Why is YouTube doing some auto translation stuff? Yeah, Tamerka, it says until on my end, but when I look at the raw, it says heya. How's your cabin today? Oh, how cozy is your cabin today? Pretty cozy. I feel pretty happy. We're getting some stuff built out, and we're getting closer to having an even cooler Ascii engine, but right now I'm struggling to I feel like Gandalf at the Mines of Moria, trying to remember the line to open the door. I know I've done this before. I've implemented this. And I'm trying to remember how exactly I modeled it. I remember luminance was subtractive and composite was 0. I think we averaged composite based off of different weights or something. Or we add it. We do a unclamped. Yeah, we add the color values onto there with a weighted value, and then at the very end we do a combined. We do a division by the number of lights that were hit. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do actually. That's the third component of this. These are the three things: luminance, composite, and light counts. Luminance, I'm trying to remember how I factored this in. Today I will go to uni and ask for forgiveness because I missed a deadline. It happens though. Hopefully it pans out though. Hopefully they're good. I remember missing a deadline for a class, and I failed the class because of it, but it was because of extraneous circumstances, and I messaged the teacher, and then she retroactively fixed it. Thank goodness for that, because if she didn't, I wouldn't have graduated that summer. That was my last semester, so if I failed that, I would have to go one more semester, and it was honestly, it's a miracle. It's a blessing from God that I graduated at all. And it was thanks to the forgiveness of that teacher. She didn't just change the grade. She had to retroactively, because I failed that semester, that class that semester, and then next semester already started. But she was filling out the paperwork during that semester to change the grade and make it passing again. So there's hope, Tamerka. I'm not sure how bad your situation is, but my situation is pretty rough. I started with CS, and then I switched to IT. A lot of similarities, though. Yes, he is, Rabbit. God is good. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, dude. A lot of people want to take credit for everything that they want to take credit for where they're at in their life, but honestly, I recognize that I would not be here without many, many interventions from God. Yeah, Jesus has been good to me, man. distance, p distance. Right, so this is going to produce a weighted value where, like, the closer it is, the smaller the value is. But I actually want to flip that. I want this to be inverted so that float weight is going to be p distance clamped, but also 1 minus that. Cozy Cabin Games abbreviates to CCC because Cozy Cabin... I'm sorry. Okay, no, it's games. It's CCG. It's not CCC. Close, though. I should have changed the name to, like, Cozy Cabin Playables. So we can be the CCP. That's a fun abbreviation. Very lighthearted, no negative connotations whatsoever. Just good ol'... Oh, man. Anyways, P-Wave. So we're going to do... Yeah, so we're going to do composite. Do I have... I need a refresher on my functions I have for my Flow 3 classes. We have add to, that's a reference. And there's add. And then I need to do a division one. The one thing I don't like about C is no overloads. That's like the thing, like if I can have one thing from C, it would be overloads. I think when I go back to C++, I'm just going to treat it like C, except for just like function overloads and operator overloading as well. But that's it. That's like all there is. Float 3a. Oh, do I want to divide by both of them? There's a political party that uses a lookalike abbreviation? Yeah, I imagine. Totally not like an authoritarian party or anything though, right? Totally. Alright, so we have our value. Cool. P weight, and then we can just do color, composite. We're going to do F3, add to, composite. We have pass in a reference here, and then we're going to do do you have a multiplication thing as well? If not, we're going to have to add it. Yeah, they really do. Curry goat rice and peas, yep. Wait, what did I call it? Divide malt? No, it's just malt. And it's going to be malt value. That's actually what it's supposed to be. And we're going to do P data color and we're going to use P weight. Cool. So we add to our composite light counts, luminance. I don't know. I'm ahead bed. Gotta catch a flight back home. Catch you next time. You have a good one, bro Chacho. Thanks for popping in. I hope you have a good flight back home, man. So you have composite. Cool. And then I know I have to do like a subtractant thing for luminance. I think the way I'm treating it was that like yeah, you know, this is dumb. I should just make this like a I think there's like a math reason why I was doing it related to like the dot product of normals, but we're not doing dot product of normals yet. Maybe I will at some point, but right now we don't. You don't have to do that. Yeah, so we increment light counts. So it's closer, it gets close to a higher value, resembling 1 to 1, right? That's radius. Then we can multiply that by an intensity value, and then, well, let's just start with radius actually. So we have radius, and we get this p weight value. The closer it is, closer to 1, right? I actually might want to have this be flipped. Right, because it's like it's a thing about percentages, I remember. Where like if you multiply 0.5 by 0.5, it's going to be a smaller value of like 0.25, right? Like any multiplications of like decimals trends always only downwards. And for the lighting, when you have multiple light sources together and you're compositing them, I want them to trend in the same direction, which is why we start with luminance at is 1 and 0 is lit. So this is 1 equals dark, 0 equals lit. It goes something like that. Like some shorthand I was taken for this. So we actually don't want to do yeah, so we're going to use P distance. P weight is used for color weight, but then intensity is going to be, or luminance is going to be using P distance. And we're just going to multiply it. So it starts at 1, and then if it's like halfway close. If it's like 1, or if P distance is like 0, then luminance goes down to 0 and it's like maximally bright. Yep, I remember the reason why we do things the way we do it. Okay, yeah. We're good. I still need to clamp it, but we're going to start with this for right now, because I'm not sure if we have a clamp function. Does C have a clamp function, actually? It should, right? No, people have their own like implementations they're using. That's for double precision, but I guess it'll translate to float as well. Okay. Const double. I should look into the const keyword and see what how that works. But it seems like I might have to implement my own function for like all of these. Sweet. Composite. Okay, cool. So we have the final result, and then we're gonna have to do a lerp. A color lerp at that as well. Okay. It's going to be equal to like, we're going from A to B, right? So B minus A is a delta. Equals delta times P. I'm going to try this const thing. And then return A plus amount. And we got our lerp, and then we can do like even more stuff. We can do like float 3 lerp. I think we're doing a float 4 lerp, right? That's what we're doing here. Or actually, it's a color lerp that we're going to end up doing. Okay. Actually, I made a function, right? C3, that's what it was. Or C4. Yeah, something stupid, but it works. I remember it. That's the thing, I remember it now, because it's something weird and dumb. And we're just going to do lerp. Dot R, B, dot R, P, G, G, B, B, A, and then A. Okay, cool. And then we can do, we're going to do composite. I don't want to do any additions to composite where, or I guess we're not going to include dead cells anyway, so that's fine. Oh, also objects that are outside of range. So we have the data here. We calculate distance. And we can do a thing where, like, if distance is greater than radius, we continue on our way. so we don't introduce biases. Good coding. Thank you, Ariel Burrito. I appreciate it. Hopefully you're having a good night as well. Or good night. Or morning or whatever. There's people are all over the place. It's kind of surprising how many people come from various parts of the world into the stream. Anyway, I'm hoping you're having a good one. I hope you're having a good one. That's what I wanted to say. P data. What am I looking for? Radius. So if distance is greater than radius, we continue. And then only here do we actually do the stuff where like it's relevant. You got a Wednesday classes postponed because of a typhoon warning? Dude, that's gnarly. I've never been through a typhoon. I've only gone through hurricanes. That sounds kind of nice to not have to go to school, but also terrible that you have to deal with a typhoon. Oh, that might be my region. Oh, same region as Melon? Oh snap. Okay, we have light counts. Plus plus. F3 multi-value, okay. So I guess at the very end we do composite equals like what, F3 divide? We should do divide too, but F3 divide value. It's gonna be composite and light counts. We get the final color composite for that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have, we sample the color up here, albedo. So now we have to like lerp the shadow base off of the light intensity. So is going to be equal to, and the two colors we're lerping between are going to be, because remember over here 0 is, the luminance value of 0 is the brightest. So we're going to use luminance, we're going to use, albedo, I guess. And then we're going to use, what is it? Albedo. Yeah, we're going to, and then the shadow color, right? We're just going to be, it's just going to be light ambient color. Okay, cool. And then that's like that should produce like the final. I mean, we have to also factor in the composite color as well. But yeah, we return actually let's do, we can return diffuse. Actually we have to do like color mult or something, right? Or can I just cast this as like a float 4? I don't even know, dude. Or we could just manually just do the color stuff here. So you can just do diffuse dot R times what, color composite or composite? off of just one, I guess. How does this work? Okay, very unhappy here. Why are we unhappy? So let's start at shaders 47. So you're unhappy here. Why is that? Right, because you're using hit.uv instead of just using UV. Okay, that makes sense. Still. All right, lowercase UV. Yep. Okay, cool. Undeclared first use and function, line 56. Right, because we never declare a final color, do we? Or we can do something cool. We can just return C4. Actually, no. These parameters. Yoink. These. Throw them here. Get this. Delete them. Cool. Int and color. What's going on here? Incompatible types with when returning type int. Type int. What are you talking about? Does it cast it to float? Oh, whoops. What is going on? It's still not happy with this. What is this color? It's capital C? I thought I made it lowercase c. Oh, that's... Now we know why the issue was. Okay, and that went away. Perfect. Okay, 97. You're not happy. Why are you not happy? Because you're using a dereferencing. You don't need that. Line 100. Yeah, this is hit.uv. 134. Again. Yeah, I don't know what, I should probably look that up. I just kind of threw that in there. I forgot, I don't know the actual name. It's like array hit, I think. It's hit point. Why do I name things like this? Why do I do this? What was I thinking? It's hit points. Yeah, that's not right. Oh, it is called hit. Position. Yeah, it's not an array. Non-scalar type requested. What? Oh, would I have to specify 149? This is struct. Oh, I'd have to get the So this is a pointer. I'm not So now this all has to become dereferences. So it'll be data position, radius. What else is that? All there is? Yeah, radius. Honestly, I'd rather just make a copy of it. Expected expression before. Oh, right. My bad. Pointers comes after. Mult value struct color. Mult value of 3. Oh, right, because color is, yeah. I could just cast it to that, right? It's the same data layout. So I can just do float 3. Yeah, there's a way. There's a way to reinterpret this as a float 3. I'm trying to figure out how you do it though. Oh, what's going on, dude? I want this kind of content on my vinyl record to listen to all day. Thank you, Donner. That's a very high praise. I appreciate it. Happens a lot in Japan. Kind of used to it. Interesting. That's interesting, man. Yeah, it seems I've been exposed to the idea that Japan gets a lot of typhoons just from media, but yeah, not something I'm very used to. Like I said, all I had was hurricanes, and those are events that didn't happen too regularly. I guess annually. F3. We're dereferencing this color. I'm trying to see if I can like make a stack copy of this. There's got to be an easy way of doing that. I would have thought C would have had a way of like coercing it, but I don't know. Like, do I want to make a new F3 just from color? Like, that seems kind of dumb, but at the same time, it's like either that or I do what? It's not a float 3 pointer. How do I coerce this? the way I want it to be coursed. I could try capturing the value in a variable ahead of time. That's not going to do what I want it to do. It might be even easier just to just make the dang value directly. That seems dumb. I feel like defeated if I do that. Like, I know there's a way to force this cast to happen, because the data layout's the same, minus like one field that we're not using. Or I just implement a duplicate function for color specifically. Oh, is it because we're not, the resultant value of this is not a, oh, that might be why actually. Because this is, expecting a float. No, this is a float 3 actually, not a color. But composite is a color. Oh. So is the issue... No, it's specifically with this line. But I think there's going to be another issue that's going to pop up, which is the fact that composite is a... yeah, color. But it didn't throw any issues with that. It's throwing issues with this. But maybe it will on the way back. Who knows, man. Yeah, I'm gonna revisit this later. I just want to see if this thing works first, and then I'll deal with that. No! Okay, we're good. Uh, 171. Okay, and then 186. Yeah, this is F3. Divide value, yeah, and it's a float 4-2 thing. I almost feel like inclined just to manually build this composite. Yeah, because it's like, for the effort of doing this, I'd rather just do the copy once and then be done with it. Composition is the wrong word. It's supposed to be composite. Doesn't handle deletion for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, and I did the wrong thing here. This has no numbers. Okay, cool. So now let's actually see if this lighting works. Also, what's going on? I don't know how to refer to you, dude. Just call you Ian instead of I am. So when we build a character, now we can set it's shaded to something different. So we can do standard lit now instead. So I'm not seeing anything. We are hitting stuff though. But we're not seeing stuff. So I wonder if the composite is the issue here. So let me just comment it out. Oh my goodness. What's happening here, dude? Dude, what? One second, guys. 1 second. Okay. I think we're close. Color diffuse albedo. Color alert albedo. S-light ambient color. Luminance. This feels really close. 1 second. Okay, let's see here. The color cast, add to composite, multi-value. Why are we getting that weird striation going on though? That's what I don't understand. I wonder if it's due to the clamping or what. RGB, one value. Diffuse is albedo, alert to S-light ambient color. Luminance, like we said, luminance is a thing that we're zero. If it's zero, then it's maximally lit. Otherwise, it's ambient color. And what we're seeing here is like, I think the ambient color being shown. But then it doesn't make sense why the albedo is like just black. Sample, main, UV. Like if I change the shader back to unlit, build, we see the player perfectly fine. I'm sorry, did I not save? But now we just get this. Which is strange, dude. I'm actually a bit anxious about going to uni. Can you give me some advice? I mean, the advice I would give is just general anxiety management stuff. And like just, you know, like framing. Like, as bad as this is with uni and whatever, like, it's not the end of the world. If you fail, let's, like, do the worst case scenarios. If you fail, like, you can always retake stuff. Heck, if you, like, you have your health, you have, you know, your abilities. I imagine you have friends and family and stuff like that. So, like, this is not the end-all be-all, dude. Nadia, what's going on? Nothing. I'm testing out my lighting in my little engine. And I'm trying to figure out what's the oddity that's going on here. Let me test something out though. And all you can do is be honest. What happened to the game? I'm working on, like, the flying game. It's something I'm working on off stream. Most of the stuff I'm doing for that game are just assets, so it's not really coding stuff. So I decided I'd just work on this project now instead, while that game cooks in the background, and then I'm gonna do a stream sometime soon with, like, finishing it up. Let me find. I want to see the ambient color that we are using here. Okay, so this is the ambient color. It's a dark blue. That's what I expect to see. So if I get rid of this, but we're seeing this crazy striation of colors happen here. That's probably due to the clamping, or lack of clamping. Your cleaning game? No, that's another game too that's in the pipeline. I started a bunch of game projects. Now I need to finish the flying game first, and then I'm going to go and visit that game. I really just want to stop using Unity. I want to be free of Unity. But I need to finish those 2 games up, and then I'll be free. I already finished the flying game, and then do 1 game in my engine, and go back to Unity for that cleaning up game. And then there's one last one I need to finish as well, called Crimson Crown, and I think I'll be free. Or maybe I'll remake it in my engine, who knows. I need to do a clamp, that's what I need to do. Can we do ternary operators? Oh yeah, we're gonna do the turducken. And we're doing another one. Let's see if that compiles. Let's see if that compiles all right. That compiles. But we still have the same issue with, like, the striation of values, which is a bit odd. Do you publish open source? I have source control, and I use Git. Some things I open source, like the Rivendell project, and I think this is open source right now, or it's available publicly on the source code, but I don't know. We'll see what I do with it. I was supposed to send diploma text for all the standard checks and procedures today. How many games? A bunch, but how many releases is a very different thing. That's a bit closer to the extreme for my taste, but it's not the end of the world, of course. Yeah, exactly, it's not. Yeah, you'll be fine, Tamerka. That's the thing. 1 year or 2 I saw your stream. Yeah, it's been a while. There's been a bit of a drop off, but it's all good. It's cool seeing some people pop back in. But yeah, there's like a cozy cabin games like Code Bird or something. So that stuff should be there. I feel like I'm messing up some kind of value somewhere. We're doing luminance times p distance. P distance is clamped. Min max, yeah. Distance divided by p data radius. There should be floats. There should be floats. We multiply that by distance. Yep, it's 0 to 1 value. Color cast. It's not a cast really, it's just a copy. Whatever, figure this out. Oh, I have multiple keyboards, but I've been only using two. My ADR. Light counts ++, composite RGB, 1. We hit diffuse. Produce C4 with RGB values. Oh! No, but we use albedo, so it should be fine actually. Are we using the correct values here? A, B, we're doing lerp, R, G, B, A. Yeah, we are. So that should be fine actually. Yeah, this should be fine actually. And diffuse is going to be like I'm struggling to understand why the underlying albedo isn't popping up. So let's do this. I'm going to do 0 for this value. And I'm seeing nothing here. And 0 should be ultimately lit, like maximally lit. And it's not. And that's what's strange to me. So let's see what's going on with albedo. So we have standard data, we have the UV, we sample the main texture, and it produces a color, albedo. We don't modify albedo ever again until here. Yeah, so it's not modified until here. And when we do 0, we're getting nothing. If I do 1, it's also the same story. What is going on? Why are these like producing the same colors? You're using floats. This is using a float. Yeah, that's strange. Is there something wrong with my constructors? No. That makes sense. I don't think my lerp is wrong either. Data. This is gonna be something dumb. Like super simple and dumb. because I was playing around with this const business. Nope. Well, let's see. Yeah, no, that should have been good. And no, we're not seeing the underlying color at all. Let's return albedo. Huh? Oh, I spelled return wrong. Nope. Build. Yeah, so when we return albedo, the albedo color's wrong. Why is it wrong? Oh, is the cast failing? Oh. I think I might have an idea. And it's the fact that we created But no, we should have the freedom to cast it however you want to. Using FD standard for this standard lit function. So it should still work actually. When we build the object, set shaders, FD standard, textures, images, 0, yeah, that makes sense. Object shader. And we cast this to a void pointer. Yep. Dude, what? This is weird. Eminence. Composite, light counts. I mean, there's the fact that this is when we do the division, it's an integer cast of float, but like that's not a big deal. Yeah, here light counts. I make it explicit that this is like a come on. There you go. But even then, that's like not the big issue here. It's the fact that albedo is like wrong for some reason. And I don't understand it. I can't explain why it's wrong. Unless like UV is incorrect, but I doubt it. Yeah, look at that. And it's not hard crashing either, so it's like sampling something. But even the most simple case of like we get the data, do the cast, we sample, and then we return albedo, that's like producing something different for some reason. It's very strange. Shaders 0, shaders 1, standard lit 0, 1, object set shader, and the object reference shader in the data. Yeah. Makes sense to me so far. Sample unsigned RGB. We pass in an image pointer. Float UV. X. Yeah, like this is pretty standard fare stuff, dude. And the fact that if I change it, this one little 3 characters, it goes back to rendering correctly. It's just that when faced with difficulties at freeze, I default to inaction. That's how anxiety is, really. Yeah, I mean, this is flight and flight, right? Either inaction or people either default to like doing nothing or doing the most impulsive something, which may not always be right either. Yeah, all I can do is just execute. To build a game, there's no estimate. No one can really estimate how long it takes to build a game. There's too many variables. From the scope of your game, to how much a scope changes while making the game, to how many people you have, to funding, to how much time you can allocate. Too many variables to try to estimate it. Too many variables. But a lot of time. I change this to lit, and all of a sudden things go bad. It is strange that there's some difference. Now, these 3 lines are practically the same. BMP sample. What do I call here? Oh, I just call sample, not BMP sample. Whoops. Oh, that changes everything. Yeah, and then now if I do build, it's gonna look right. Okay, cool. And now if I get rid of this, okay. And that's with 1. If I change it to 0, we have this. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So now if I change this back to luminance, build task out, interesting, luminance. That's the variable we use here, right? And we start with luminance at 1, right? Yeah. So this is like fully lit. Interesting. And if we bring back the composite, and that's with the lighting factored into it too. Okay, cool. Nothing too drastic so far. Now if I make the radius smaller, where's the radius? We set a radius of like 200. Let's make it like 20. So the object is like completely engulfed in darkness. Okay, let's make it like 60 or 100. Oh, so you see some of the players like lit, but not all of the players lit. Oh, dude, so we can like, let's change the position of like the light source. Yeah, dude. Radius, color. So we made it just green. What if we make it like let's go, dude. So let's we We get the light reference, right? So this is the light reference we have here. And then let's like change the position every single frame. Cast to dot x equals sine. And what was it? What do I use for this? S frame count. Why is it not happy here? No, it's declared somewhere. Where is it declared? Yeah, oh, I just called it light, that's why. Okay, here we go. Nope. Destruct, yes it is. Don't lie to me. We cast this a light underscore point, which should have a position value in it. 100%. And position should be, let's see, where's light point? Yeah, position. Don't lie to me. I'm not crazy. How dare you make me think I'm crazy? So you're saying what? It's not something, is in something not a structure. Do I have to do like this massive thing? To non-scalar type requested. Why can't I just not do that? Gotta go take care. You take care. Have a good one. Why can I not just do that? Do I have to like make it a pointer? And then this becomes like a dereference. Alright, and I have to change the magnitude, don't I? Because it's not enough just to do sine. I need to do like sine times like, I don't know, 32 or 100. Oh my goodness. But you can see the light working. But so we have to make it a little bit slower. Let's go, dude. Look at it. You can see our characters lit now. Oh. You can see the light source, dude. Nice. Dude. Oh, dude. This is like super exciting. And we could do like the rim lighting as well and stuff like that, and have multiple light sources. Well, actually, that's the real test, is like having multiple light sources. So let's actually try that out. I mean, it wasn't that hard to make multiple lights. I'll make an easier function for setting positions, but yeah, this should be straightforward. Light 2. And you're gonna have like what? You're gonna have be like green. And we have to factor in intensity too. We haven't done that yet. That's sick. Okay, and then we can just do this, but with Y. Maybe I have like a slightly different phase. Dude, I can't see nothing. I can't see anything. Oh yeah, light 2. We're modifying the same light source, that's why. Oh, my bad. Light 2. Okay, so there's something wrong with how we composite lights. Dude, I'm so excited, dude. There's something odd with how lights are being composited, but... Or maybe did I just do something wrong? We're modifying light 2 and light... I'm not seeing two lights interacting with each other, so that's odd. But we're providing point light 2 and point light 1. So I'm not sure why it's being like that. You know, as I make this very obvious, I'm gonna make these have different components. So it's very clear and easy to see what's being modified. And then I'm gonna keep the same amplitude. They occasionally pop up. I'm not seeing the blue though. Know what's going on? Same question as Striker 0, but without design assets, just code infrastructure, not from scratch. Oh, like how long does it take to build a game? I mean, it's the same thing. Like, code infrastructure does not narrow things down as much, because it's very much dependent on what type of game you're doing. If you're doing a simple, like, you know, if you're doing a game that's not networked and doesn't save data ever and doesn't, you know, and it's not doing like complex stuff, you can do like super fast and easy, right? But if you have like something that requires saving, that's another thing. That's the thing you have to start architecting, and it depends on what type of data you're saving. That changes how you go about it. Is it going to be networked? Okay, that's another thing you have to deal with. Are you making a game that's going to have some kind of form of undo redo? Like, you modify like your character's attire or a banner or a picture, or like it's a drawing game or something. Oh, then now you have this cost on every single feature you make in your game, because now you have to support undo redo. That's a huge thing. that people don't realize how complex that is. Yeah, like estimating is not estimating in a general sense for games is not, you can't do it. Like, you have to do something very small and trivial to estimate it, and if it's small and trivial, then like the value of estimating it is not really that great. Okay, so it feels like they're contesting. So I'm wondering if my request light thing is working as expected. So let me go to my light request. I equals, if it's reserved, we continue. Otherwise, we say reserved is true, is alive. Return 1. Yeah, that seems to be correct to me. Sinmad, thank you. Yeah, it's coming together little by little, man. It'll be cool to add support for like normal maps and stuff like that too. But we'll see. This is exciting though. I'm very happy with this so far. I'm not happy that the double lights is not working. I don't know why that's not happening, but oh well. I'm happy with this. We have lighting in our game. Beautiful, dude. Alright. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to call a stream here. I think we got quite a bit done, so I'm pleased as punch. But yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. As always, God bless. And until next time, stay cozy. Bye-bye.